Hi, everybody. Welcome to Life Stories Podcast, People Helping People. I'm Shara Goswick, your host. My guest today is Karen Knight. Karen is a volunteer engagement strategist. She works in every aspect of the volunteer recruiting program, but not just that. She helps companies and nonprofits keep their volunteers. She teaches them how to keep people engaged and want to be there. She had a great perspective. She loves what she does. And I think she's important because I know how important volunteering is. I think her work matters. And I think you're going to enjoy this conversation. Thanks for being here.
I think volunteering is so important. And I used to really resent people that would talk about it when I did not have the time to do it. And I just felt so guilty, like, oh, I don't have time to do that, but I know it's important. And now I have time and I do volunteer every week. But I talk to people all the time on the podcast who are volunteering or who are running nonprofits who need volunteers. I serve at my husband, I serve at our church. We always need volunteers, people helping. So a lot of businesses and programs have to have volunteers to work. So I think what you do is very important. And I can't wait to hear the way you work because you work with volunteer recruitment. So you help create programs to get people to volunteer, correct?
That's one of the things I do.
Okay.
So basically, any aspect of your volunteer engagement, I
Uh-huh.
will help with, whether that's recruitment or whether it's offboarding somebody, if you're having difficulty with volunteers, if you have a revolving door and you can't figure out why. Like
Yeah.
people come in, do one or two shifts and disappear again, and you can't
Right.
figure out why. I can figure out why and give you tips and ideas on how to help that. So,
That's so
but I will
good.
say
Okay.
first, there are tons of volunteer opportunities out there that will take no more than half an hour to an hour a week.
Oh,
There
wow.
are opportunities. It may be something as simple as, "Hey, can you post some stuff on social media for us?"
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
You don't even
Yeah.
need to leave your house. There are
Sure.
people who need that too.
Yeah,
So there
absolutely.
time is a very,
It's an
easy
excuse.
excuse. Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
not a good excuse, it's an easy excuse
Right. Right.
because there are, I'm in the middle of writing an article right now, a blog
Okay.
on coffee break volunteering.
Oh, wow.
Like, things you can do between 10 and 10:15
Yeah.
instead of
That's
sitting
awesome.
around the lunch hour room, right?
Right. So how did you get involved in this? Whatever made you want to get involved in volunteer work or helping people in volunteer work?
Okay, so I started volunteering when I was about 11 years old, and
Wow.
it wasn't something my family did. It wasn't my family was one of these people, "You give work away for free? Why would you do that?" But, I was actually visiting my grandmother in her care home,
Mm.
and for whatever reason, the person who called bingo that day couldn't show up, and everybody was so upset about it, and the people who like to play don't wanna call because
Right.
then they can't play, right?
Yeah.
And the people who don't like bingo don't want anything to do with it. So I said, "Well, all you have to do is just pull these balls out and read the number, right?" So I called bingo up that
Oh, that's awesome.
afternoon, and everyone was so enthusiastic and so grateful and
Wow.
gave me hugs and cookies. I
Aw.
thought, this volunteering thing is a good deal. So I started volunteering, and I've been volunteering ever since.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I've had a very varied work career. I've
Yeah.
done dozens of different things, including being a cabinet maker. And
Yes.
that has impact on this because I worked for a high-end cabinet company in our town, and I had had a brutal day at the end of a miserable week, at the end of an awful month.
Hmm.
And I came home and I thought, "Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
My purpose in life is to make rich people's houses fancier."
Right.
And it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And I thought, "Okay, well, what do I want to do?" Well, I wanna make a difference, right? I wanna make the world a better place. Well, how can I do that? I thought, I could be the executive director of a not-for-profit. I have
Mm,
tons of from all the various different things I've done in my life. I've
good.
had large handled large budgets, I've handled large organizations, did all this sort of thing. I thought, yeah, one thing I didn't have is a degree,
Mm,
educational
yeah.
degree.
Yeah.
My education was all in the trades,
Yes.
right? And I don't think a human ever saw my application for my resumes, right? They
Yeah.
all ask for a bachelor's degree. They
Mhm.
don't even specify in what, but you have
Right.
to have a bachelor's degree, and I don't, and so I got kicked out. So I was complaining to my best friend, and, she's one of these serial entrepreneurs. I don't think she's had a job ever in her life. She's always worked
Wow.
for herself in various things, and she said, "Well, why don't you set up your own business helping not-for-profits with their volunteer programs? Because 'Cause you've got tons of experience. Because 'Cause I've served on boards, I've led volunteers, as a volunteer myself and as a career. She said, "Well, why don't you just help people? You have so many good ideas about it." And I thought, "Is that a thing? Are you allowed to do that?" So I researched it, and yeah, it is a thing. It's a very small thing at the moment. It's a really niche market.
Yeah.
There's lots of people out there doing things like governance or other things for fundraising, other things for not-for-profits.
Right.
But there's only a small handful of us who actually consult directly in the realm of volunteering.
Yeah.
So I set it up, I got some mentors, and it's been going wonderfully. Every day I get to go and I help other people help the world, right?
Isn't
So
that awesome?
it's brilliant. It's
That is awesome. I love it. And like I said in the beginning, or it might have been before we even started recording this part, these so many programs and businesses need volunteers. Like it is necessary. And I don't think people understand, it is easy to be busy and not think you have the time. And some people are like, if you've got an overwhelming job and you're too busy, I understand not wanting to get
and you
a
need
minute.
your coffee breaks to
Sure.
come down, right?
Absolutely, but I think some people or a lot of people, I think, don't even think about it because they think it's something they can't do, but it's just so important. I don't think people realize how important it is.
Yeah.
Um, what is the biggest challenge when you meet with these different companies and people? What's the biggest challenge in trying to recruit volunteers?
Right now, it's because so many organizations are still stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Once COVID hit and so many organizations had to close down their volunteer programs,
Mhm.
people sat back and thought, how do I want to spend my time? And whereas so many volunteer organizations have roles that are you come in for 2 hours every week for the rest of your life, people
Right.
don't want that kind of commitment anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, people commitment's a dirty word nowadays, right?
Yeah.
People don't want to commit to that. They want just short, impactful things. They don't want to come in and stuff envelopes for you. Because why? Right?
Right.
Or clean up. Unless they can see a direct line between what they're doing and the impact or the cause, and
Right.
how that helps the cause move forward.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, if you just have volunteers just because it's helpful and takes load off your staff, you're gonna have struggles. But if
Yeah.
you have really quick, short things that people can come in and they can see the impact they make,
Yeah.
it becomes much, much easier.
Yeah. So I volunteer once a week at our pregnancy center and I am a client advocate. So I meet with clients, but when people don't show up, as that happens sometimes, I want to be productive and I'm in the midst of it. So it's easy for me to see, even though I sometimes I stuff envelopes or stamp things that have to be I'm in the middle of it so I can see the impact because I know this needs to be done for the business. But I see what you're saying for people that don't understand, they don't
Yeah.
get the impact that even, that could make. So I totally get that.
There's a story, that one of the presidents you're nodding, you probably heard this story. One of the
Mhm.
presidents was, uh, going around NASA, and he stopped to talk to a janitor and said, "What's your role here?" And he said,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm helping put a man on the moon." Right?
Wow.
You know, it but he had to know that. He's not out there just cleaning toilets, but if he didn't clean toilets, the scientists who actually do that
Right.
work couldn't do their work,
Yeah.
right? So if you can say, "Yes, we have you stuffing envelopes, and I know it's boring, but this is what gets people aware of our cause
Right.
and make changes," then there's purpose to it. It's not
Absolutely.
just a job.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the flip side, what do you see in some organizations that are doing it right, that they get it and they're doing that right?
Relationships.
Relationships.
Build
Yeah.
relationships. It's not a transaction.
Yeah.
You have to have a real understanding of who your volunteers are and what they're passionate about, and then they can start to feel attached to the organization.
Yeah.
Um, Again, talk about the cause. This is why we have you doing this particular task.
Right.
And if you're interested in other tasks, let us know. We can switch it up. You can do
Sure.
this one week and this another week. I mean, we're happy to for whatever way you can help.
Yeah.
Uh, but build a relationship. Know your volunteers. Know what they're interested in, what they're passionate about, what they want to achieve in their life, and how can you help them?
Yeah.
Right? Can you give them experiences that'll add to their resume? Right?
Sure.
But you have to know your volunteers to do that. You have to
Yeah.
have a relationship with it. It all starts with building a relationship. You have to be careful to not build a volunteer role just because you have a great volunteer who wants to do a particular thing. I
Yeah.
see that happen a lot where
Okay.
somebody says, "I want to learn about this," and the organization doesn't wanna lose them as a volunteer, so
Yeah.
they twist it, but that's not helping the mission,
Yeah.
right? So you have to be really focused on the mission. And this is something that I tell people over and over and over again, and I don't know if it ever gets but, be willing to give up a good volunteer to keep
Mhm.
them volunteering in the bigger picture. So if you don't have a role that's a good fit for a volunteer, send them down the road to the food bank or to the,
Sure.
hospice that does have a role that they would
Mm.
feel good in and would be attached to. Because if you try and hold them and put them in some mate work project, they're gonna be unhappy. They're
Yeah.
not gonna help you, and they're gonna quit volunteering entirely.
Right.
This way, you might lose them, but you didn't have anything for them anyway,
Right.
but they still stay in the volunteer pool, and
Yeah.
somebody else gets to help.
Yeah. That's awesome. What kind of age group do you see mostly jumping
There
in?
isn't
There
there
isn't one.
isn't.
That's good.
It depends entirely on the organization and what
Okay.
the cause is.
Yeah.
Young people tend to gravitate toward environmental causes,
Yeah.
social impact causes.
Mhm.
Retired people tend to lean more toward the arts,
Yeah.
and these are massive generalizations.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Massive,
Yeah.
massive generalizations. Families tend to get involved with animals. Well, everybody gets
Yeah.
involved with animals.
Yeah.
If you're adopting out puppies, you
Right.
never have trouble getting volunteers.
Right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I love that.
But yeah, no, there isn't one particular group. Um, it used to be a lot of older retirees,
Yeah.
but since COVID, those are disappearing. Number 1, they're aging out.
Yeah.
They physically aren't able. Number 2, a lot of them are still scared to go back
Yeah.
into places where there's a lot of people and they could get sick. So
Sure. Yeah.
so that's still changing.
I think I like that there's not one age group. I think I like
And
that,
I do too.
yeah, all different
Volunteering's for
people.
everybody.
It is. It is. Do you work strictly with people in your area? Do you go to businesses that area, or do you work virtually with people all over?
I work virtually, so
Okay.
I have clients all over Canada, all through or currently I think currently all my clients are in Canada.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I have had clients all over the States. I've had clients in Britain. I've had clients in the Australia, clients in the EU. So yeah, I've been
All
I
over.
do 99% of my work online. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Who is a perfect client for you? Who needs to reach out to you to get your help? Like, what kind of issues do they need to have to reach out to you?
Pretty well any challenges you have with your volunteer engagement. It could be recruitment, you're not getting enough people applying.
Yeah.
It could be you've got a bit of a merry-go-round or a revolving door. People are coming in, but they're not
Right.
staying and they disappear again. You can't figure out why. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Challenges with your training. How do you get training done? I've got 2 clients right now that didn't have a volunteer program and wanted one, and could see the impact or the greater impact they could have if
Yeah.
they involve volunteers. So I'm helping them right from the scratch, writing policies and procedures, doing,
Hmm.
setting up systems and everything for them. So
Yeah.
I also do a lot of, workshops and both online and in-person workshops. It's pretty well my only in-person stuff for I
Yeah.
get called in to do workshops and keynotes on various volunteering topics. Um, what else do I do? I mentor, if you have a programming, you've got a new leader of volunteers come in and they're a little bit unsure or they have lots of questions, I can come in and help with that. I can mentor them. I meet with them once a week and guide them through any questions they have and by the time I leave, they're solid. So
That's amazing. I love that.
yeah.
So, for somebody that's at a company and they are or they're becoming a volunteer coordinator, what makes a great volunteer coordinator?
Oh, that's a good question. Patience. Be
Patience. Yeah.
be very protective of your boundaries.
Okay.
I've seen amazing, amazing volunteer coordinators burn out in no time because they didn't set boundaries. And volunteers will take as much as you are willing to give. And if
Right.
you give it all, you're not going to last. So part of that, you need to be a good leader. And I think that's often missed in not even in the organizations. They think of a volunteer coordinator or a leader of volunteers as someone we can just pull in off the street and, "Hey, you're just dealing with volunteers," right?
Yeah.
Um, but generally, the leader of volunteers leads more people than anybody else in the organization except for the executive director.
Wow.
Right? Think about that. They
Yeah.
have often teams of 200 to 5,000 people that
Wow.
they are directly responsible for. We can't just pull them out of high school and say, "You're
Right.
in charge," right?
Yeah.
But it's often seen that way because volunteers are free labor. They
Right.
figure it's easy. But if you can lead volunteers who aren't tied to you with a paycheck or anything, you can lead anybody.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to be able to be a good leader, and there's I mean, that's a whole podcast in itself,
Right.
what makes a good leader, but,
Absolutely.
I've if you go onto my website, I've got tons of articles
Okay.
on that sort of thing, so,
Yeah.
um, but you have to be good with people, be you have to want to build relationships with
Right.
people, right? Because like I said, relationships are
It's
everything.
all yeah.
Um, yeah, and just be patient with yourself and with others because it's a hard job. It's not an easy task,
Yeah.
right? So be gentle on yourself.
Yeah, that's good. Can you share a success story that, on all these years of the people that you work with or a company that you've been able to turn their program around and help?
Yeah. There's one there's one that and whenever I get a question like this, there's one that always pops in
Always,
my head.
yeah.
Um, it's Food for Kids Waterloo in which is a organization in Ontario.
Mhm.
And when I got there, their volunteers were disappearing. They were down to about half staff.
Oh, wow.
It was things were just weren't working.
Yeah.
Um, And when I left, I got in there, I mentored their new volunteer coordinator. They had just gotten a new volunteer coordinator. I put a volunteer management system in place for them and trained them on it, on how to use it. We changed some of their policies. We changed the content of their webpage. I'll tell you one thing, don't ever go out, "We need volunteers,"
Right.
because desperation never sells,
Right. That is the
right?
truth.
Tell them what you're giving them.
Yeah.
I'll get here, actually, I've been writing the webpage content for one of my new things,
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
and it's a volunteer, or it's a, conservation organization.
Okay.
So, um, and I start the first sentence is, "The best way to fight eco-anxiety is to involve yourself in the cause." Volunteering with Ocean Wise is not only fun and educational, but it gives you a practical, impactful way to make a difference. By educating others, assisting with scientific research, and or helping with cleanups, you'll be part of a large and passionate team moving the needle towards healthier oceans and environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot different than, "We need volunteers.
It
We
does.
couldn't do it without you," right?
Yeah.
It all of a sudden says, I wanna be part of that. Right? So I rewrote the content on their webpage, and I
Yeah.
I did all this, and when I left, they had over 200 volunteers from 25.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, they were starting to think, "How can we expand our program? Now that we
Right.
have the workforce to do it, we can reach into new communities, we can
Sure.
do more things." Their
Yeah.
impact grew substantially, and it
That's
just
amazing.
I felt so yeah, this
Yes.
is why I'm in this, is
Yes.
'cause I can really make a difference, and
Yes.
it's so cool to watch.
I know what you're doing is so rewarding for you because I'm not helping anybody by what I'm doing, but getting to hear the stories like this and the stories of people and the great things that they're doing, it makes me so happy. And so I
You
know for
are
you it is
helping people. I
well,
don't
I'm not
believe
actually
that's
doing the
that.
work.
You're sharing stories that inspire others to go out and do things.
I hope I'm inspiring people to do that, but I know it makes you so happy to do what you do. I know it's rewarding because even for what I'm doing, it just makes me so happy. I'm like, "Yes, this is great. Volunteering is so important." I just love it. I just love it. I was so happy when I read your profile because I was like, "This is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I talk about all the time." So,
Right.
it's so exciting. So, for somebody that wants to begin volunteering, or maybe somebody that wants to begin leading volunteers, what is one piece of advice you could give someone before they even step out to begin that?
Decide what you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
What is it that you care about? What change do you wanna see in the world? And then find the organization that's leading to that,
Yeah.
right? That's your first step, is
Sure.
because that'll keep you going even if things are rocky for a while,
Yeah.
right? Um, know that what you want to do is something that really resonates with you,
Yeah.
and then get in there. There are organizations who do
Yeah.
everything, so
Yes.
whatever your passion is, there'll be an organization out there that could
Yeah.
use your help. Um
Absolutely.
Next, research the organize so if your thing is hunger, um, you can volunteer for at a soup kitchen, you can volunteer at a food bank, you can volunteer for, community gardens, I mean, there's so many
Oh,
different
yeah.
ways of doing that.
Yeah.
So research the different organizations in your area,
Yeah.
or if you're wanting to volunteer, virtually, you can look anywhere.
Right.
Uh, and then find the one that really seems to resonate, and then go and talk to them. Don't
Yeah.
you don't have to just judge by what you see
Sure.
on their website or whatever. You can go in there and watch for a while, just lurk and
Right?
see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then ask questions. Talk to some of the other volunteers as they're coming
Yeah.
off the ship. What's good and what's challenging about this role, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very much like a job.
Right.
Like, you're gonna be more passionate about it the better you
Yeah.
know, and you get into
Absolutely.
one where you are part of their community,
Yeah.
right? You're not just, "Oh, here, do something for me," right?
Yeah. Yeah. At the place where I volunteer, we've had people come through. I'm only there 1 day a week. I'm there 1 morning a week, actually. And so
Yeah.
when women have come through to volunteer and they're taking a tour, our director has stopped me and said, "Would you please talk to her and tell her why you're here? Like what gave you?" And I mean, I tell them my story and why I'm there, and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is for to hear somebody else that has been there and been involved in it to know where they're coming from. I think you're right. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So, is there anything I haven't asked you about that you would like to talk to me about?
There's one thing, and I'm not sure if this is helpful or not. If you're struggling with volunteers, like getting enough volunteers, 90% of the people who reach out say, "We have a recruitment issue, can you come help?"
Yeah.
Right? And I dig in, and probably 50% of those don't have a recruitment issue. They
Oh,
have some other kind of issue.
yeah.
So if you're feeling you have a recruitment issue because you don't have enough volunteers, try and dig a little bit deeper.
Sure.
In many cases, I'll go in there and, hey, they're getting like 10 or 15 applications a month. That's plenty,
Yeah.
but nobody's, actually signing up at the end,
Yeah.
or they come for 1 or 2 shifts and disappear. Those aren't recruitment issues. You're
Right.
getting people in. You just there's something broken somewhere else.
Yeah.
Is it in your onboarding process? Is the training too long or seeming irrelevant so people quit before they finish their training?
Yeah.
Or is it, they get I'll tell you a story. Um, I this was a number of years ago now. I volunteered at at an art gallery, and I went, applied, got accepted, interviewed, all that stuff, and they said, "Okay, your first shift starts here. You go to this person, and she'll tell you what you need to do." Fine. So I go there, and I find that person, and she looks at me blankly. She had no idea it was coming. She had nothing
Mm,
set aside for me to do. So she gave me some make work project because I
right.
was there, right? And I thought, "Oh, okay, well, it's first time, no big deal, right? Mistakes
Yeah.
happen." But it happened the second time I came. And the third shift, she saw me coming, and this look of annoyance passed across her face.
No.
And I turned on my heel. I walked out. I never went back.
Yeah.
And I told all my friends, "Yeah, you don't want to volunteer there. They're
Right.
not organized, right?"
Yeah.
Nobody wants to volunteer in a place where they're more of an annoyance than a help,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, find out what's actually happening
Yeah.
before you just assume it's a recruitment issue. That's one big thing. There's a lot of things that could be going on, but if you're getting applications, but you still don't have enough volunteers, there's
Right.
something else going on.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think what you're doing is so important. It's so good. And I hope you stay busy all the time because I want this to work everywhere. I want it to be a seamless process. And it's hard. And like you said, they have to have patience and there's a lot involved in it, but
Yeah,
it's just so good. And I mean, you feel so good when you're able to help somebody else.
absolutely.
Even a little
Yeah,
thing, I think it's important. So
yeah,
this has been
absolutely.
wonderful, Karen. Thank you so much for talking to me.
No, it was fun. I can talk volunteering all day long.
Yes.
If any of your listeners want to just hop on a call and chat, I'm more than happy to do that.
Well,
So,
good. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
you too. Take
Alrighty. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.